Ever met someone so confident they could ignore basic laws of physics? Our next 10 Darwin Award winners did exactly that, including the mastermind who thought he could use a leaf blower as a makeshift jetpack. Gravity had other plans, and they were way less fun than flying. Hello everyone, welcome back to another absolutely mind-bending episode of Wow Amazing. Today we're diving deep into Volume 33 of our top 10 most ridiculous human fails, featuring Darwin Award winners who really should have thought twice. But before we jump into these jaw-dropping tales of spectacular human decision-making, make sure you absolutely smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell like it owes you money. Trust me, you're going to want notifications for this series. Number 10. The microwave phone repair expert. We're kicking off our countdown with a tale that gives new meaning to the phrase quick fix. In 2021, a 29-year-old tech support worker dropped his brand new smartphone in a puddle while walking to work. Now, most people would try rice, maybe a hairdryer, or even those fancy phone drying kits you can buy online. But our tech genius had what he thought was a much better idea. Our digital disaster specialist had always prided himself on thinking outside the box. He'd been working tech support for 5 years and had heard every possible phone problem you could imagine. Cracked screens? Easy fix. Water damage? Usually a death sentence. But he was convinced he'd figured out a revolutionary solution that would change everything. His brilliant plan was elegantly simple. Use the microwave to evaporate the water inside his phone. Heat creates evaporation, he explained to his coworker. It's basic science. He'd even done research by watching a YouTube video about industrial drying techniques, completely missing the part about how microwaves actually work. He wrapped his phone in what he thought was a protective layer of aluminum foil, because apparently he'd also missed that day in middle school science class. Set the timer for 30 seconds, pressed start, and waited for his genius to be proven right. The microwave lit up like a 4th of July celebration. The phone exploded with enough force to blow the microwave door open. The aluminum foil created an electrical light show that could be seen from the parking lot. And our tech support hero? He got front row seats to a physics lesson he'll never forget. The good news, the water was definitely evaporated. The bad news, so was his phone, his eyebrows, and a significant chunk of his security deposit. The fire department found him standing in his kitchen, holding the melted remains of his phone, still trying to figure out where his plan went wrong. Let this be a lesson. Sometimes the old-fashioned solutions exist for a very good reason. Speaking of people who thought they knew better than established safety protocols. Number 9. The bulletproof window tester. Quality control is important in any business, but some testing methods are better than others. Our 2020 Darwin Award winner was a security guard who took product testing way too seriously. This 31-year-old had just started working at a company that manufactured bulletproof office windows. His job was simple: sit at a desk, watch monitors, and make sure nobody stole anything. But our security expert had bigger ambitions. Our workplace warrior had always been obsessed with action movies. His apartment was full of movie posters, replica weapons, and enough tactical gear to outfit a small army. He'd applied for police academy 3 times and been rejected each time for psychological concerns. But that didn't stop him from living out his action hero fantasies. The company had just installed their new bulletproof windows in the lobby, and management was really proud of them. They'd cost a fortune and supposedly could stop anything short of military-grade ammunition. The sales brochures were full of impressive test results and certifications from official testing facilities. But our security guard wasn't satisfied with boring paperwork and certificates. He wanted to see some real-world testing. So during his night shift, when the building was empty, he decided to conduct his own quality control experiment, using his personal handgun and what he later described as scientific curiosity. He set up what he thought was the perfect test scenario, positioned himself 10 feet from the window, aimed carefully at the center, and fired 1 shot to test the bulletproof claims. The window was indeed bulletproof. The bullet bounced off cleanly, ricocheted around the lobby like a pinball, and found the one person in the building who definitely wasn't bulletproof. The irony was perfect. The product worked exactly as advertised. It just worked a little too well for our amateur tester's health. Security cameras captured the entire experiment, and the footage became required viewing in workplace safety training programs across the country. Remember, folks, there's a reason professional testing exists. And it's not just to ruin everyone's fun. From workplace disasters to culinary catastrophes, our next winner proves that some challenges should never be attempted behind the wheel. Number 8, the Elevator Express. Construction sites are full of safety rules, warning signs, and protocols designed to keep workers alive. Our 2021 Darwin Award winner was a 31-year-old construction worker who had grown tired of following what he called unnecessary safety theater. Our construction speedster had been working on the 15th floor when he realized he'd forgotten his lunch in the ground floor trailer. The normal route would take about 20 minutes, and he was already running behind schedule. That's when he noticed the empty elevator shaft next to the working elevator. The shaft had guide cables for future elevator installation, and our worker had an idea that would save him significant time. He could rappel down the guide cables directly to the ground floor. He'd done rock climbing in his younger days and was confident in his rope skills. The guide cables looked sturdy enough, and he'd rappelled down cliffs twice that height during weekend adventures. What he hadn't considered was that elevator guide cables are designed to guide elevators, not support rappelling humans. The cables are also coated with industrial lubricants, making them significantly more slippery than climbing ropes. The descent started exactly as planned for the first 3 floors. Then the lubricant coating transferred to his makeshift rappelling gear, and physics took over. What started as a controlled descent quickly became an uncontrolled express trip to the basement level. The construction site had to shut down for 3 days while safety inspectors investigated what they initially thought was a catastrophic equipment failure. When they discovered it was actually creative route finding, the story became mandatory viewing in construction safety training programs. From construction disasters to explosive landscaping, our next winner thought firepower was the solution to yard work. Number 7, the artillery grass trimmer. Yard work is boring, time-consuming, and generally not very exciting. Our 2019 Darwin Award winner decided to solve all these problems at once with what he called efficiency through firepower. This 38-year-old suburban dad had been battling his overgrown backyard for months. The previous owners had let the grass grow wild, and now he was dealing with weeds taller than his kids and tough enough to dull 3 different lawnmower blades. Our backyard general had always been fascinated by military history and had acquired a decommissioned grenade launcher from a military surplus auction. The plan was brilliant in its simplicity. Use small explosive charges to clear the tough weeds, then follow up with regular lawn care. The first shot worked perfectly, clearing about 10 square feet of stubborn weeds with impressive efficiency. Encouraged by this success, our artillery expert decided to increase the payload for maximum effectiveness. The second shot cleared the weeds, the topsoil, a significant portion of his fence, and launched his neighbor's garden gnome into the next county. The explosion was so spectacular that earthquake monitoring stations picked it up as seismic activity. The crater where his backyard used to be was perfectly round and deep enough to qualify as a small pond. The city later declared the area a landscaping disaster zone. From explosive landscaping to dangerous home repairs, our next winner thought he could fix a gas leak with fire. Number 6, the gas leak genius. Home repairs can be expensive, and many homeowners try to handle simple fixes themselves to save money. Our 2020 Darwin Award winner was a 42-year-old welder who was absolutely convinced that his professional skills made him qualified to handle any household problem. When he detected a gas leak near his outdoor grill connection, he decided this was a perfect opportunity to demonstrate his welding expertise. He'd fixed countless gas leaks at work using proper welding techniques, so why pay plumbers hundreds of dollars for simple metal work? He gathered his welding equipment, fired up his torch, and prepared to seal the leak with what he called a quick professional weld. What separated this repair job from his professional work was the presence of accumulated natural gas in the immediate area. At work, gas lines are properly shut off and purged before welding begins. In his backyard, our expert was essentially trying to weld an actively leaking gas connection. The explosion was visible from 2 miles away and registered on seismic monitoring equipment at the local university. His welding torch was found 3 houses away, still clutched in what remained of his hand. The gas company used the incident as a training example for why certain repairs should only be attempted by licensed professionals. From explosive repairs to experimental cooking, our next winner thought he could revolutionize the kitchen. Number 5, the pressure cooker rocket scientist. Cooking shows make everything look so easy and safe, don't they? Our 2021 Darwin Award winner watched one too many extreme cooking competitions and decided regular kitchen equipment was holding back his culinary potential. This 42-year-old amateur chef had been experimenting with high-pressure cooking techniques for months, modifying his pressure cooker by removing safety valves and increasing pressure levels far beyond design specifications. The final experiment was his masterpiece, a pressure cooker modified to reach industrial-level pressures. His plan was to cook a turkey in 15 minutes using what he called hyperbaric culinary fusion. The setup looked like something from a mad scientist movie. Gauges, extra pipes, and enough duct tape to hold together a small airplane. The pressure cooker barely resembled kitchen equipment anymore. He placed the turkey inside, sealed the modified cooker, and began the pressure buildup process. The gauges showed pressures climbing far beyond anything designed for food preparation. The explosion was visible from 3 blocks away. The pressure cooker achieved flight, traveling approximately 200 feet vertically before returning to Earth as expensive metal fragments. The turkey was found in 7 different yards, cooked to perfection, and distributed more evenly than anyone had ever intended. From kitchen catastrophes to bathroom disasters, our next winner thought industrial equipment would solve his shower problems. Number 4, the Power Wash Shower Upgrade. Everyone wants better water pressure in their shower, right? Our 2020 Darwin Award winner decided that regular plumbing improvements lacked vision and engineering ambition. This 33-year-old home improvement enthusiast had been frustrated with his apartment's pathetic shower pressure for months. His plan was simple: modify a commercial-grade pressure washer to work as a shower system. The pressure washer could generate 3,000 psi of water pressure compared to the pathetic 40 psi he was getting from his regular shower. He spent weeks installing temperature controls and creating what he called a residential high-pressure bathing system. The setup involved industrial hoses, commercial spray nozzles, and enough plumbing modifications to make a building inspector weep. The first test run was everything he'd hoped for. For about 30 seconds, our bathroom innovator was living the dream. Then physics reminded him that there's a reason showers don't operate at industrial pressures. 3,000 psi of water pressure can strip paint, remove rust, and clean concrete. It can also remove skin, which is considerably softer than concrete and not designed to withstand industrial cleaning forces. Emergency responders later said it was the cleanest accident scene they'd ever processed, though they had trouble identifying which parts were originally bathroom fixtures and which parts were originally person. From hygiene disasters to wildlife encounters, our next winner thought alcohol gave him bear fighting superpowers. Number 3, the Bear Whisperer's Last Stand. Camping trips are supposed to be relaxing getaways from the stress of modern life. Our 2019 Darwin Award winner turned his camping vacation into a real-life nature documentary that nobody wanted to watch. This 38-year-old had been drinking steadily around the campfire with his buddies when a large black bear wandered into their campsite looking for food. His more sober companions immediately began making noise and preparing to retreat to their vehicles. But our camp hero had consumed enough beer to believe he was personally responsible for protecting the campsite and teaching the bear some manners. His plan was to establish dominance by making himself appear larger and more threatening than the 300-pound animal. He grabbed a large stick, started yelling at the top of his lungs, and charged directly toward the bear while his friends screamed for him to stop. The bear had been peacefully investigating their cooler, showing no signs of aggression. For a moment, it seemed startled by the sudden aggressive behavior. Then the bear remembered that it was a 300-pound apex predator, and our camper was just a loud, drunk human with a stick. The bear's definition of establishing dominance turned out to be significantly more effective than anything our wildlife expert had learned from documentaries. Park rangers found his friends the next morning, still trying to explain to emergency responders how their camping trip had turned into a wildlife incident. From wildlife disasters to electrical gardening, our next winner thought he could outsmart nature with voltage. Number 2, the electric fence gardener. Gardening can be a relaxing, rewarding hobby that connects you with nature. Our 2021 Darwin Award winner decided that traditional gardening was too boring and needed some high-voltage excitement. This 36-year-old suburban dad had been battling rabbits, deer, and various other creatures that kept eating his prize-winning tomatoes. Instead of using normal pest control methods, he decided to electrify his entire garden with maximum deterrent voltage. The plan involved installing industrial-grade electric fencing around the entire garden perimeter, complete with multiple voltage zones and graduated shock therapy for different-sized intruders. He'd researched electric fencing systems designed for containing large livestock and decided that if it could stop a bull, it could definitely stop a rabbit. The installation took weeks and involved enough electrical wiring to power a small factory. The finished product looked more like a military installation than a vegetable garden. The system worked perfectly for protecting his vegetables. No animal came anywhere near his electrified garden fortress, and his tomatoes grew bigger and more beautiful than ever before. The problem came during the first major rainstorm after installation. Underground electrical systems and flooding don't mix well, especially when you're standing on wet ground wearing metal-soled work boots. The electrical surge traveled through the flooded soil faster than our gardener could run. The electric company had to shut down power to 3 city blocks while they figured out how to safely dismantle what had become an accidental electrical weapon. And now for our grand finale, we have a tale that proves workplace shortcuts can be deadly. Number 1, the shortcut specialist. Workplace efficiency is important, but some shortcuts aren't worth the time they save. Our 2022 Darwin Award winner was a 29-year-old maintenance worker who had developed his own creative solutions for moving between floors in the office building where he worked. This entrepreneurial employee had grown frustrated with waiting for elevators and walking upstairs, so he devised what he thought was a brilliant transportation alternative. Our efficiency expert worked in a 20-story office building that had a central utility shaft running from the basement to the roof. The shaft contained electrical conduits, water pipes, and ventilation ducts, along with a maintenance ladder that was supposed to be used only during specific repair procedures with proper safety equipment. He discovered that he could climb the utility ladder much faster than waiting for elevators, especially during busy periods when the elevators were constantly in use. Over several months, he'd been using the utility shaft as his personal express route between floors, confident that his athletic ability made this a perfectly safe time-saving technique. His co-workers had occasionally noticed him emerging from utility closets on different floors, but he'd always explained it as routine maintenance work. Nobody questioned his method since he was always on time and seemed to get his work done efficiently. The fatal miscalculation came during a particularly busy day when he decided to take his shortcut while the building's electrical systems were being upgraded. The utility shaft that morning contained several high-voltage cables that were being tested by electrical contractors on the upper floors. Our maintenance climber had made this trip dozens of times before and was confident about the route. He knew exactly which pipes to grab, which conduits to avoid, and how to navigate the tight spaces efficiently. What he didn't know was that the electrical contractors had energized several previously dead circuits during their testing procedures. The electrical contact occurred around the 12th floor, creating what building engineers later described as an unplanned integration between human maintenance worker and high-voltage electrical systems. The power surge was significant enough to trip circuit breakers throughout the building and temporarily interrupt elevator service. Ironically, his shortcut had indeed saved time, just not in the way he'd intended. The elevator he'd been avoiding was stuck between floors for 6 hours, while emergency crews worked to safely extract him from the utility shaft. Building management installed locked access panels on all utility areas and created a new safety training program specifically addressing creative transportation methods. Our shortcut specialist had revolutionized workplace efficiency protocols, though not in a way that anyone wanted to replicate. Bonus entry, the Wi-Fi signal booster. As a special bonus, let's talk about someone who took internet connectivity way too seriously. In 2021, a 28-year-old tech worker was frustrated with his home Wi-Fi signal strength. Instead of buying a signal booster or upgrading his router like a normal person, he decided to build his own ultra-powerful Wi-Fi enhancement system. His research had led him to discover that radio waves can be amplified using various methods, and he was convinced he could create the strongest residential Wi-Fi signal in his city. The plan involved multiple routers, signal amplifiers, and several modifications that definitely weren't approved by the FCC. He'd calculated that by combining 12 different routers with industrial signal boosters, He could create a Wi-Fi signal strong enough to reach anywhere in his neighborhood. His internet would be faster than anyone else's, and he'd be the hero of every remote worker in a 6-block radius. The system worked perfectly. His Wi-Fi signal was indeed incredibly strong and could be detected from amazing distances. It was so strong that it interfered with local radio stations, disrupted nearby electronic devices, and attracted the attention of the FCC within about 6 hours of activation. The good news, he achieved the strongest residential Wi-Fi signal in the city. The bad news, Wi-Fi signals that strong are classified as radio frequency weapons and are highly illegal for civilian use. The FCC response team found him trying to explain to very confused federal agents that he just wanted better internet for video calls. His Wi-Fi enhancement system was generating enough radio frequency energy to disrupt air traffic control systems at the local airport. He'd successfully turned his apartment into an unlicensed radio transmitter, powerful enough to be detected by military satellites, which is definitely not what he'd intended when he started shopping for better internet equipment. Sometimes the best technology upgrades are the ones you buy from actual professionals instead of building in your garage. And there you have it, folks. Volume 33 of the most jaw-dropping human fails that prove common sense. Really isn't that common after all. Hit that subscribe button and ring that notification. You definitely don't want to miss a single episode of our mind-blowing content that proves reality is often stranger, funnier, and more explosive than fiction. Until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and remember, if your brilliant idea requires a disclaimer, maybe save it for someone else to try first. Your future self, your neighbors, and your insurance company will thank you.